Hey YouTubers, it's me, Lonnie Clark again. I decided I'd make a little quick video today since we're still in that Nagasaki, Hiroshima awareness 2 or 3 days where everybody's like, oh yeah, we dropped the bomb on the world 75 years ago when we didn't need to, but we did it as a science experiment, and we're still conducting the science experiment. Part of why I became inactive over the last year and a half is because after really pouring myself into this and reading as much as I could and reaching out to as many people as I could on this issue, it became abundantly clear that the people in charge of the money and in charge of the power and in charge of the weapons and in charge of really the whole system have absolutely no intention of stopping nuclear weapons, nuclear research, have no intention of being accountable for the harm that nuclear causes, have no intention for allowing the truth to come out. Anytime there's a report that comes out that clearly expresses harm to people, everybody up the food chain in every single court kicks it down the road. The courts literally conspire against the people in every single nation to deny nuclear accountability, nuclear harm accountability. And that's an overwhelming thought when you realize that we really, in terms of nuclear destroying the planet, that's obviously their plan, because they do know the harm that it causes. And I just decided I didn't want to waste all my time filling my head up with all this stuff that we could not fix. So today is Friday, and I usually edit Libbe's show every Friday, Nuclear Hotseat, because it goes to KEPW in Eugene, Oregon, and they're a nonprofit, and they can't even tolerate the little 5-minute "please give me a cup of coffee" statement that she begs everybody to help support Nuclear Hotseat. So that has to be edited out in order for it to play on KEPW. And it should actually be edited out on all of the Pacifica radio stations, but it's not. But KEPW wants to make sure they don't have any reason for the FCC to destroy their license. So they were very adamant if Nuclear Hotseat's going to be on KEPW, they need to have that out. So I volunteer that so that we can get KEPW to play Nuclear Hotseat to the Eugene, Springfield area, and to anybody who listens to KEPW.org online. And when I was listening to it today, she replayed the Nobel Peace Prize, the ICANN acceptance speech of the survivor, and I don't remember her name offhand, as we're all meant to do, not remember anybody's names. That's kind of been pre-programmed. She was one of the survivors, and she said when she woke up after the destruction, she was underneath some debris, and somebody told her to keep kicking and find your way out, and that's what she did. And now we're coming into a time where the survivors of really the only open nuclear atomic bombs that have been dropped on the planet by the United States, those people are all dying. Most of them are not, I mean, they're all old, 90, 80 years old. You know, they were kids in the 40s. And that historical memory is going to go away. And that's exactly what they're counting on. And they count on the children dying and their parents not saying anything. They're counting on people being so overwhelmed with trauma that nobody can stop them. And I think that's part of what I call it Nuke Truther movement needs to be, is we just need, I heard on Libbe's show, one of again, the same thing, I can't remember her name, but she was talking about what she wants is a truth and reconciliation program. As you have heard me say, that's what I have believed for quite a long time, that we need a truth and reconciliation program with the nuclear industry. We need to allow the scientists to come in and say, this is the reality, this is the truth, And we know we screwed up before by keeping all this information to you, but we need to put our heads together and talk about reality now. Can we get to that? That would be a good goal to get to. Do I think we'll get there? No, I think that I'm beginning to believe, like Guy McPherson, that there aren't going to be any human beings on the planet by 2030. Maybe there will be. That's my hope. Because I have grandchildren that are small little people now, and 2030 is only 10 years away. That means that they would die before they reached adulthood. So that's not what I choose to believe is going to happen with my grandchildren. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. We are in really grim times, and that also has kept me from making my YouTube videos. I used to read books with such enthusiasm, and journals with such enthusiasm, and interview people with such enthusiasm, and I feel like I've just been beaten up seriously bad by the inaction of, well, the oppression. YouTube obviously oppresses my channel, and the inaction of people who go, wow, that's really interesting, next, let's see what next video we can get. I guess we've been programmed to just sit back, kick up our heels, and swim in the warm water while the water boils up too hot for us to jump out. But I actually don't think there is any jumping out of the nuclear thing. Like, when you realize that all of their, quote, cleanup is just moving their toxic byproduct from one place to another. In fact, Utah is mostly the dumping ground for most of the United States' nuclear waste, when they can move it. And there's a lot of it not being moved. So any place that there's a nuclear facility, if you live in that community, you're definitely at risk. I don't know. I think that it's really important for us to just keep fighting, keep kicking. That lady, when she said that to me, it reminded me why I did this in the first place. To just keep kicking. We have to fight our way through this. I mean, I guess that is the nature of life, right? Life isn't easy, and it never has been. And that was the illusion of the so-called, what do we call the modern world, where we'd all have this leisure time, and we could all go on vacation, and we have a good job where we could work, and then you go on vacation, and you have your happy little family. I don't know about you, but I never had any of that. Like, I never had a happy little family. I grew up terrorized. I've struggled most of my life financially, trying to find my stable feet. It wasn't until like I was 45 till that happened. And this thing with Fukushima, I don't know about you guys, but it's always in the back of my head. Fukushima is not fixed. They may have dolled it up and made it look pretty, but it's definitely not a done deal. And it's not corrected. And it is a complete disaster still to this day. So where does that leave us, right? It leaves us super screwed. Like the Marshallese people, right? Like the United States has washed their hands of the dome that's collapsing, and they literally had the nerve to say that they don't have enough substantial evidence to prove that the nuclear contamination is going to harm the Marshallese people, which is a blatant lie. But part of why they don't have certified studies is they just don't study. Just like they don't study children, they don't study women, they don't study people in the communities where nuclear contamination is exposed. Many of you heard Larry Bergen, who still has not received his disability payments. He was the first person in Illinois to win disability from nuclear contamination at the Mallinckrodt, quote, aluminum plant, where he thought he was processing aluminum pellets, and it turned out to be highly radioactive uranium. So he won his unemployment 20 years ago, still has not received his big payoff of several $1 million, and it should be by now. And that's what they do. They wait for people to die before they have to pay any liability. I wonder what they're going to do when their own family starts dying. And their own family probably are still dying. And that's the nature of this cannibalistic society that we have right now. We're eating our own arms off. And I guess I want to put up this video to encourage anybody who listens to my channel to take a rest if you need to take a rest like I have. Regain your stability, regain your sense of self and worth, and like that idea that we all do matter in this. And I am hoping that by putting up this video, I encourage people to lean into this. Still call your congressmen, your senators, even though the money that they get paid and the expectation once you're in Congress is you keep your trap shut about nuclear. You're not going to stop it. If you do stop it, you get Paul Wellstone, which, if you guys don't know, Paul Wellstone was killed by our government probably. So it's we're kind of super screwed. But even in that, the one thing they can't take away from us is our happiness. They can't take away our sense of self and our sense of hope and pushing and striving to keep humanity alive. And that is why I'm posting this video. I want us to remember our humanity and make an effort to be kind to ourselves and to others. Refuse to name call. Refuse to get baited by the malevolence that is basically permeating not just our planet, but especially, I think it really starts with the nuclear industry. They are so malevolent. They have no goodwill towards anybody whatsoever. They just want complete power, control, and dominance, and they believe they can kill and murder, maim anybody that they want, and ridicule anybody that they want. And they can't. I mean, they can do all they want, but they can't affect us. So I'm just encouraging people to pay attention, to go onto the Googles, go on to GoDuckGo, look for articles about nuclear, and when you see something, say something. When you see something, call your elected officials and say, this isn't right. We have got to push back. I don't know how we're going to gain a movement of people that basically feel defeated. How do we get people to push past that sense of defeat? That's why I'm making this video, because I'm pushing past my own sense of defeat. I've been silent for more than a year now, and I barely make YouTube videos. I stopped doing the Age of Fission radio show. I can't even stand to talk to people about what action they're taking, because for me, it's not about that. I want a truth and reconciliation program. I'm sick of us having to keep doing study after study after study. We need more studies to show that nuclear causes harm to children. We don't need new studies. We need some studies. We need just the government to stop lying. It's every single government. That's the weird part about it. It's not just the United States. It's every government lies about the harm that nuclear contamination causes. That's the incomprehensible thing to me. I cannot figure it out. But anyways, I don't want to go on too long, you guys. Thanks for watching my videos and my channel. I really appreciate the new subscribers I've gotten lately. And I actually saw some comments this morning that made me feel great. People saying thank you for these comments, and that they appreciated my upbeat attitude towards things. It really made a difference to me. It sort of is encouraging when people put up comments about, we all kind of have to hold each other's hands. And I think that's what me doing this video is about, is for like a way to reach out and grab your hand and see we're in it together. And you know what, if we help keep each other floating up, maybe, I actually refuse to believe it's all a waste of time. I refuse to believe that we can't make a difference. And I choose life, I choose hope, I choose love, I choose self-care, I choose caring about humanity and loving other people. And I'm glad that you came to my channel, because that means that you too have those same sentiments. So put your courage feet on, you guys, and really, I'll be talking to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye. So, get this thing off. I always have a hard